Yes, I'm on again. Had to eat breakfast or lunch. Put the clothes away. Took a shower. And now I'm back. Okay. No feelings today? It's not looking like it because it's already 2 o'clock. So probably not today. Thank you, Ted. Tay. I'm sorry, thank you, Tay. Happy birthday. Good to see you too, Tony. Thank you, Jermaine, for hearing me. Alright, so let y'all take a screenshot of the board in case. Let me just move this.
It's -9 degrees right now. Oh wait, no, it's earlier.
What was I say? Oh, sorry about that glare. I can't really get rid of the glare. Let me see. Maybe there. So take a screenshot. You need your birth chart. This is explaining the birth chart and the houses and the signs and the planets. And maybe work. Maybe that'll help. That would help a little bit. Thank you, Tony. What's up, Rain? Thank you. Alright, so we left off on chapter 4 in this book. So unfortunately I forgot to post the other chapters, so it is on my Instagram if you want to catch up. If not, we're gonna continue with chapter 4. Alright, thank you. Let me turn this off. What's up? Hey Noah. Good afternoon. Alright. So, like I said, you need your birth chart. We're going to get into the signs, but not just your sun. So, like when we get to Aries, you know, your sun may be in Aries. So, it's going to go over that. But hold on, that's chapter 3. This also covers your moon in Aries, your Venus in Aries, your rising in Aries. So you need to know your other where your planets are located. So make sure you have your birth chart. Yes, but that's not his name. His name is Joshua. You missed. What you missed? You missed so many lessons. I know. I'm so sorry. Normally I upload the chapters, but I forgot to upload these chapters. But I will tonight before I go to sleep. I'll upload them, and I'll upload these ones that we covered today. But it is on my Instagram. Yeah, 420 is not Aries, 420 is Taurus. It's not the same thing, okay? They want you to believe that it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. So, I want to say Jesus, Yahshua, tomato, that's not it. It's Yahshua. That's his name, okay? Alright. So, while I'm reading, I'm not going to be able to answer your messages in the chat, but when I get to the end of the chapter, I will answer questions. So if you type them in while I'm reading, I'm not going to see it. But maybe somebody in the chat has the answer. So if you want, you can still type it. But once I finish the chapter, that's when I'll take questions. Okay? Alright. Chapter 4. the signs and shadow work. The first thing most of us learn about astrology is our sun sign. Some attach their cosmic self-awareness to this and stop here. But, to greater or lesser degrees, we carry components of all the signs, and each one influences some part of our lives. The 12 signs are broken down by about 30 days. Since we are this composite of varying amounts of these 12, we understand that some of these archetypes over others. The signs that dominate our charts give us more psychological material about who we are, including what drives us and how we express ourselves. We may understand those with the sun signs we lack placements in within our charts. As a simple example, if you don't have placements in Virgo, you might not appreciate the analytical nature of a Virgo sun and misunderstand their constructive criticism. But when it comes to the elements, those that are lacking in our charts indicate the energy we seek to incorporate into our lives. For example, if you lack water sign energy and have lots of fire sign placements, you might feel a stronger pull toward bodies of water or a desire to live seaside. The signs are not one-dimensional expressions that we are doomed to become. They are multidimensional, complex archetypes with a range of tendencies and traits. The spectrum of characteristics each of them exemplifies include unique, celebratory qualities as well as shadowy attributes with potential pitfalls. For example, Virgo carries crippling criticism, but also impressive self-mastery. Pisces can embody creative ingenuity or tortured artistry. Aquarius is either tied to the community in ways that drown out its unique voice or is the idol-centric leader of the group. Throughout this spectrum, there are behaviors and characteristics that we societally judge as good and bad, and these bad traits can be referred to as our shadow traits. Understanding the shadow involved with our sign, sun, moon, and rising, and doing inner work or shadow work can launch us into our next chapter. Shadow work means examining our traits or behaviors that don't serve us well, embracing the pieces in need of healing, and making courageous shifts in response. This involves a subconscious deep dive into parts of ourselves we were taught to keep hidden, parts that may be terrified to excavate, examine, and heal. Moving through shadow work requires relinquishing control over an aspect of our lives, often something from the past and something we've attached to our sense of self or ego. When we take the time to do shadow work, the goal is to get to the root and heal the damage left unaddressed. When we address the shadows, we can feel freer and more easily navigate through life. This is called integrating our shadow, and all practical application of astrology for our inner work is addressing our shadow and embodying the gifts in our charts. Part of what makes astrology incredible is its mirroring ability to reveal our blind spots. Investigating a multifaceted nature of the dominant signs in our chart is the beginning step in embodying the pieces of these archetypes already within us, while consciously shrugging off the aspects we wish to release. We can make a conscious choice to release these lower vibrational expressions of the sign. We aren't beholden to become a version of our astrological charts that we don't wish to express or be, and shadow work can help us get closer to our most authentic expression of self. The Tarot and the Signs. The tarot is an ancient divination tool spanning multiple continents and centuries and encompassing a range of archetypes or stages within life's journey. It tells a story through archetypes and symbolism and can help us help us develop a deeper relationship with our intuition. Each sign is connected to the meanings of the tarot, and each sign is represented by one main card within a group of cards referred to as the major arcana. A sign's major arcana card reveals more personality traits through its imagery. In sequential order, the major arcana cards of the tarot take us along the hero or heroine's journey as embodied by a character referred to as the Fool. In this way, the tarot, like the signs, reveal the next step in our evolution. While many renditions of decks have been produced, any specific features of these definitions are based upon the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Each deck holds one meaning in its upright position and a related but different one in its reversed state. Generally, the reversal of a card can be viewed as its shadow side. When learning the upright and reversal positions explained for your sun, moon, and rising signs, consider how you've embodied these archetypal energies at points along your journey. If you choose to explore the tarot deck for yourself, you may find that specific details make their way to the main stage for you to notice. Consider looking into the symbolism that draws your eye or piques your curiosity. There can be a pertinent message to discover. Likewise, as you read through the meanings of these specific cards connected to your signs, you may feel captivated by an element or theme, even without the deck. That can hold something to explore along your personal shadow work voyage. The tarot is an excellent tool to practice shadow work, and understanding the meaning of these specific cards and the signs they represent contributes to this. Critical degrees. In addition to their modality, element, and tarot card, the signs have multiple associations, including a color, ruling planet, motto, and more. Each sign holds degrees from 0 to 29, but each degree is associated with a specific sign, which lends further material to our interpretations of each placement. While these degrees hold wisdom worthy of a separate deep dive, there are two particular degrees to highlight. Take a moment to check for 0 or 29 degrees in your chart. At the furthest extremes within each sign, these are the critical degrees, and they hold special meanings. They can be particularly potent and sensitive. If you witness a 0 degree placement in your chart, picture this as the early stages of learning this placement's energy within this sign and house. When it comes to interpreting this placement, you are in the infancy stages of exploring this lesson. The embodiment of 0 degree can be a bit volatile. For example, a Leo's sun at 0 degrees can either show up glowing, radiant, and prepared for showcasing creativity, or they could fall subject to self-criticism or doubt. In this instance, they might not seem or feel like a Leo. But there's an innocence to a 0 degree placement that can allow for open-mindedness, opportunity, and exploration, and in this sun sign example, it's in relation with oneself. If you have a 29 degree placement, the cycle and learning associated with this placement is culminating. Sometimes this is referred to as the Antarctic degree. We might envision this as a graduation from this life lesson. For example, Pluto at this final degree in the 5th house of romance could be relinquishing controlling dynamics in dating and finding empowerment through creative projects, personal expression, and pleasure. Outside of these two, the degrees in any sign of the assigned associations are material to note, but don't let yourself get overwhelmed by them. Interpreting our sun, moon, and rising signs. Some of the most important placements are our top 3, our sun, moon, and rising placements. We can learn plenty of information from these placements. With these interpretations, we evolve out of the simplistic trend of sun sign astrology. When we think of ourselves, we might combine the themes of our sun, personality, our rising, how we experience and exchange energy with the environment, and our moon, the way we experience and process our feelings. However, the truth can be more nuanced. We might show up in the world as a bright, sparkly Leo sun or rising, but our capacity to dive into the depths and sit with grief could be exemplified through a Scorpio moon. Your sun, moon, or rising might be in a harsh aspect to each other, such as your sun squaring your moon, or sun opposing your rising sign. In these instances, we benefit from returning to our awareness of ourselves. It can be necessary to express feelings more readily or act in alignment with what makes us truly happy, especially when our top 3 are in harsh aspect to one another. In other cases, you might have your rising and moon in the same sign, or your sun and rising together, forming a conjunction. This allows you to clearly express feelings with the moon, or personality with the sun, and carries the message for the world that what you see is what you get. When conjunctions are formed in any of our top 3, less is hidden. In my chart, my sun and rising are conjunct in Gemini. I consider this to be beneficial for others and myself. What you see are Gemini traits, and these are true to my sense of self and expression. But my moon is square these placements. Intentionally sharing feelings is an important life theme. My rising sign squaring off my moon means that while suppression is sometimes easier, it's important to give my feelings attention and expression, even when it's not what others anticipate. The sign at the start of our first house shows us our ascendant or rising sign, which is indicated by an AC. This will always be the starting line of our first house. Looking at your chart and returning to the sample page on page 18, notice that more than one sign can occupy the entirety of each house. In a sample chart, Libra is the first house, even though the early part of Scorpio is within this house too. In this example, Libra is the rising sign. In the sample chart, Venus, Libra's ruling planet, is the chart ruler. This person may emphasize the senses in daily life, valuing life's little joys and weaving them into daily rituals. They may have heightened or important relationship with food, scents, or luxury. In your chart, look to the planet ruling your ascendant sign. Since this is your chart ruler, it is an important energy to grow familiar with and observe. In your natal chart, the aspect it forms with other planets and luminaries can carry significant meanings. When this planet retrogrades, you might feel these effects more than most retrogrades. You may feel an energetic slowing down, experiencing deja vu moments, or review or reflect on something from your past. While our sun sign reflects our personality and our moon sign reveals our emotional landscapes, our rising sign reveals how we interact with the world and digest information. Characteristics of our rising sign and its house uncover the ways others perceive us or how we show up to the world. This is what people notice about us. Sometimes this is referred to as the mask we wear, even when we aren't aware of this impression. Along with our Venus placement, our rising sign can indicate physical features or our style. Notice the element of your rising sign. This element will be the language that resonates most with us in how we learn and interact with our surroundings, whether through the mental understanding of air, experiencing feelings through water, the direct participation of fire, or tangible transactions with the earth element. Like your ascendant sign, you have a descendant placement, often indicated by DC, directly opposing your ascendant in your 7th house. This placement can give us clues about our past lives, hints at ways of being that come naturally to us, and indicate the qualities we seek in a life partner. Understanding your chart. As you continue, read the signs of your sun, rising, and moon, and Venus placements. Also, see which signs have lots of activity in your personal chart. You might be an Aquarius sun with intense Scorpio energy showing up through a stellium in Scorpio. If this is the case, you might hear, "You don't seem like an Aquarius," and you probably don't identify as much with the unconventional, detached energy of Aquarius or the air element in general. You may be more mysterious and secretive and enjoy researching spirituality, psychology, or more intense topics. If you see lots of activity in a sign, read about this sign and reflect on those attributes within you. For any sign that has a stellium, the shadow work for this sign can be particularly useful for you. Also, notice the signs associated with each of your houses, as this reveals further information. For example, if Sagittarius is the sign ruler of the 7th house of partnerships, this indicates that you value learning through knowledgeable partners, crave a sense of freedom within commitments, and are attracted to fiery and exciting qualities in companions. Or, if Scorpio is the ruler of your 10th house, you may find themes of transformation relevant to your career and reputation. With this placement, your intuition and feelings could be necessary for success, and your focus on career and public life could be obsessive. Once you grasp the knowledge of the signs, you'll string it together with your awareness of the houses and form more fluent conclusions from your chart. Let's look at a celebrity example. Take a screenshot. YouTube, you guys are going to have to take a screenshot, but you're going to have to flip it. So take this screenshot and then flip it. In David Bowie's chart, Aquarius is his rising sign and the sign ruler of his 1st house. This reveals his idiocentric, non-conforming image and signals that others could view him as futuristic and otherworldly. We witnessed this throughout his well-documented career, seeing him expressing himself as Ziggly Stardust or performing his song Life on Mars. His Sagittarius 10th house of career reveals that he was adventurous, bold, and knowledgeable in his field. If he ever struggled in his career, leaning into Sagittarian attributes and furthering his skill sets would have been a way to work with in his chart. Professionally, like the bold archetype of the archer, he took risks that were met with abundance and luck of Sagittarius' ruling planet, Jupiter. His Gemini 5th house of creativity signifies that language and being a wordsmith were important components of his expression and artistry. In the following chapters, we'll explore the nooks and crannies of each of the 12 signs, from Aries to Pisces, you'll understand the personality of each sign. Since each of these lies within your unique chart, you can benefit from reading each sign for its specific house, regardless of the planetary placements in each. Or you may rush toward better understanding your sun, moon, rising, and Venus placements. Either way, you'll have the opportunity to explore the practical ways these 12 energies manifest, including their shadow sides, and become equipped with practices tailored to each. And that is the end of chapter 3 and the end of part 1. Can I write the name of the book? This is the name of the book, Astrology and Shadow Work. Thank you, Michael. It's backwards, I know, because it doesn't allow me to mirror the screen. But if you come on TikTok, it is mirrored and it's not backwards. So you can stay here on YouTube, or you can come on TikTok where everything is upright. The words on the board are also posted on my TikTok and my Instagram. So if you cannot see them on YouTube, you can either, like I said, take a screenshot, and then when you go into the photo in your photo app, hit edit and then flip it so that it is upright. Or you can come on TikTok, and it is posted on my TikTok and it's posted on Instagram. But this is just basically explaining your birth chart, what each house stands for, what the planets stand for, and what the signs ruling each house stand for. So we already covered that in the beginning of the book. So let me get out the way so y'all can take another screenshot. Thank you, Danny. Okay, no other questions? Alright, let's continue. Part 2, Understanding the Signs. Chapter 5, Aries. Theme, the brave trek. Archetype, the warrior. Dates, March 21st to April 19th. Motto, I am. Ruling planet, Mars. House, first. Degrees, 1, 13, and 25. Modality, cardinal. Element, fire. Colors, red. Body correlation, the physical head and brain. Keywords, daring, impulsive, independent, enthusiastic, initiating. Tarot card, the Emperor. Characters and celebrities with Aries energy. Aries, Marcus Aurelius, Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, The Flash in DC Comics, Lady Gaga, and Unicorn Riah. Why did they forget to put my name right there? Aries playlist. Wanna Be Starting Something by Michael Jackson. Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar. Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. Make the Road by Walking by Menahem Street Band. Never Too Much by Luther Vandross. and I by Kendrick Lamar. Herbs and supplements for Aries. Turmeric for anti-inflammation, yarrow for overheating, and maca for adrenal support. Crystals for Aries. Carnelian for connecting with inner drive, red jasper for grounding, and celestite for peace. In a quote, sometimes your only available transportation is a leap of faith. Margaret Shepherd. As a cardinal fire sign, Aries is the initial spark that sets off a bonfire. As the first sign of the zodiac, they are learning life through first-hand experiences and eagerly rolling up their sleeves for life's tasks. They embody taking a leap, initiating a task, and charting the course. The first 4 signs, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, are in the process of learning their elements. Since fire is volatile, the channeling of that inner spark makes all the difference in the life of an Aries. Embodying a lit match, Aries must be self-directed and not carelessly thrown. Their inherent comfort with risk can be to their detriment, and learning to cool off their fire and use it constructively can be a lifelong journey. Each sign is signified by one specific symbol. For Aries, it's the ram, symbolizing their ability to plow ahead. The head-butting ram contains the energy of their ruling planet Mars. At its best, Mars showcases drive and the will to boldly act. In its most destructive manifestation, Mars is war. Aries, when your fire is not channeled, how do you maintain peace? Is it worth maintaining? As the initiator of the zodiac, you may begin to wonder, must I always lead the charge? In the tarot, the Emperor is the tarot card for Aries. Sitting on his throne, he embodies authority, stability, and strength. He is an obvious leader and has significant responsibility. He has fought many battles and successfully climbed the ranks to get to his position. The Emperor is a well-respected and courageous figure. Mature and conscious, the Emperor is one of the embodiments of the divine masculine energy in the tarot deck. If you have an Aries sun, as Aries sun is the trailblazer. An Aries sun is the trailblazer. This person dances to the beat of their own drum, and once they have their vision set, they'll move swiftly in its direction. They infuse their actions with passion and their big why, and there's a short tether between their feelings and their willingness to act. Just as they move swiftly, they tend to think and speak quickly too, and their words are driven by their emotions. They can be naturally ambitious and goal-oriented. They don't always make hasty decisions, but they are capable of reckless choices. They benefit from finding calm, grounding, and presence in the moment. They are more suited to leadership than following others or taking orders, and can find satisfaction in guiding groups. They are one of the few signs with an inherent optimism. They take risks, revel in their victories, and experience life in passionate and integrative ways. If you have an Aries rising experiences life head-on and through physically engaging with the world. Exercise can provide PANACEA for their stress or the natural heat they accumulate within. They can be a bit of fire starter, and similar to Aries sun, they are quick to act, speak, or send messages. Generally, they don't shy away from confrontation and, and exert more effort in conversations and relationships than others. When attempting to make their point, they can be perceived as aggressive. While others may find them intimidating, this perceived aggression doesn't always reflect how they feel. If they find an investment worth their energy, Aries rising will give 100% of their effort. But over time, this initial devotion can lead to burnout or lack of follow-through, extinguishing the flames of their intention. Aries rising benefits from considering that their self-assertion has the capacity to block their desires. They should avoid combativeness, asking themselves, is this the war I'm willing to wage? Or is this a battle worth fighting? Will help them avoid draining their energy through unnecessary spats. If you have an Aries moon tends to be independent, driven, and courageous. As the first sign of the zodiac and holding cardinal energy, they can have impulsive tendencies tied to their feelings. Despite being a fire placement, an Aries moon can be emotional, accessing the full gamut of their feelings. They can be bold and brash with the capacity to inspire others. They can nurture themselves by avoiding impulsivity or repressing emotions, and they must channel anger in a productive way. Aries moon benefits from engaging in self-soothing activities and healthy communication and being in cooling, serene environments. To relax, they can incorporate the element of water into their lives, taking soothing baths or resting near water. When it comes to creative work, they benefit from experimentation. They need to feel free from confinement and allow their creativity to shine. As cardinal fire, if something isn't working, they can and should start over without clinging to a past creation too tightly. If you have Venus in Aries, in a phrase, this is a keep it hot placement. Venus in Aries is passionate and loves to try a new hobby or activity. It comes naturally for them to take initiative in matters of love, money, and their values. They can appreciate public displays of love and get bored easily. They tend to be flirtatious and, for better or worse, love a good chase. They like to move quickly in life and relationships, and although they must be cautious of being hot-tempered or competitive, they can forgive and move forward. They should avoid impulsive spending. In money-making ventures, their independent spirit can launch them into entrepreneurial endeavors in which they can excel. The partners for Aries Sun and Venus. Despite your fiery nature and tendency to go after what you want in partnerships, you seek balance. To offset your quickness and drive, you thrive in partnerships that value reciprocity and with those who have an easy ability to keep their cool. Someone who lends patience, perspective, and tact will prove to be a complementary partner for Aries energy. You benefit from partners who also help you stay grounded to the earth, enjoying life's simple pleasures, and this could include culinary adventures or being in a nourishing environment that feels good. These qualities might be best exemplified in air and earth sign partners. A long-term partner for Aries will honor their need for independence and be comfortable focusing on their own creative projects or personal endeavors. When stressed, Aries might become somewhat impatient or bossy, and they benefit from forgiving, laid-back partners. Shadow work for Aries. The shadow traits: aggression, burnout. The evolved traits: chill, focus. The lesson: every sign is in a process of becoming. Aries is learning to take initiative responsibly and how to lead through developing their relationship with themselves. They are learning to master peace and the art of assertion without war. For them, knowledge of the self might take precedence over fueling balance in partnerships. The advice: feelings of rage can escalate into inflammation. You require healthy outlets and benefit from direct communication after a few deep breaths. Also, you are the initiator of the zodiac, and this means staying the course as a leader. Implementing structure in your long-term plans and finding supportive teams for collaboration will be your secret weapons for success. The shadow through tarot. While the Emperor is a trusted, capable leader in the upright position, when the Emperor is too focused on his battle scars or the powers signified by his throne, he embodies the shadow side of this card, a dictator. The message of this card in the reverse position signifies an energy that is immovable, explosive, and arrogant. The reverse Emperor's brutality can be dangerous and lead to impulsivity and conflict. Taking a step back, finding humility, and witnessing the humanity in others are the lessons for the Emperor in the reverse. Reflections for Aries. How can I best channel my assertive spark? Is there a relationship in my life that could benefit from greater balance or a softer approach? How can I show appreciation for those who support and look up to me? For the sake of staying true to my own course, is there a tweak that needs to be made? Affirmations for Aries. I'm designed to initiate change, and I acknowledge this responsibility. It is safe for me to trust my partnerships moving forward. I bravely and compassionately ask for what I need from others. I celebrate my inner drive and embrace collaboration as an asset. Practices for Aries energy. Yoga. Whether you identify as one or not, the Aries archetype is a hothead. You need a place to release all that heat and sweat it out. Also, you and all fire signs like to look your best and impress through your physique. Yoga will check both boxes. Breath work. Breath work is a great way for you to release tension. This will connect you with your emotions and help liberate pent-up feelings. It relieves stress, lowers blood pressure, and releases energy into the throat chakra. In addition to feeling lighter, a likely benefit of breath work will be improved relationships. Active listening. Since your tendency to move fast, active listening is a quick fix to avoid jumping to conclusions and saying something you'll regret later. The next time you're inclined to react rather than respond, to raise your voice or run away, take a deep breath. Hold space for the other person. Then decide how to move. Active listening gives you the ability to strengthen your relationships and connects you with your inner mediator. Utilize HALT. HALT is an acronym and tool, and it stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired. In this practice of checking in with yourself around what stressors might be exacerbating the pressure in the present moment. If you're experiencing any of these, the advice is to nurture yourself by addressing the part of you that is hungry angry, lonely, or tired. Tend to your physical and emotional needs before responding to another potential issue. And that is the end of chapter 5. Any questions? You're welcome. You're welcome. Next is Taurus. I can't restart the live, but I am recording it, so I will post it so you can go back and listen to the live when I post it. You just got here too? Sorry. I'm sorry. But I'm going to post it. Ooh, thank you for the hand heart. You're welcome. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Marjon. Hey, Jay Hines. Okay. No other questions. We're going to go to chapter 6. Let me just get some water. Okay. No, guys, life is a spiritual journey. You never just are on your journey. All of life is a journey. All your past lives, you're on the journey. You're supposed to learn and share. Okay? Alright. Chapter 6, Taurus. Theme, the foundation. Archetype, the reliable soul. Dates, April 20th to May 20th. Motto, I have. Ruling planet, Venus. Houses, 2nd. Degrees, 2, 14, and 26. Modality, fixed. Element, earth. Color, green. Body correlation, throat, neck, and thyroid. Keywords, sensual, stubborn, consistent, charming, luxurious. Tarot card, the Hierophant. Characters and celebrities with Taurus energy. Demeter, Hestia, Julia Child, Coco Chanel, Audrey Hepburn, and Blanche from the Golden Girls. Taurus playlist, Lazy Lover by Brazilian Girls. Feels good by Tony. Fashion by David Bowie. Love Hangover by Diana Ross. Passion Fruit by Drake. Red Wine by Neil Diamond. Herbs and supplements for Taurus. Rose powder for connection to the heart. Ashwagandha for reducing stress. Ginger for metabolism and thyroid support. Crystals for Taurus. Malachite for self-love and inner transformation. Selenite for spiritual connection and aura cleansing. Orange calcite for connecting with inner drive. In a quote, happiness is in the quiet, ordinary things. A table, a chair, a book with a paper knife stuck between the pages, and the petal falling from the rose, and the light flickering as we sit silent. Virginia Woolf. As a fixed earth sign, Taurus is the epitome of stability. The desire to plant roots and build a stable foundation resonates with the Taurus to their core. They are connected to the earthy, material themes of grounding and abundance. They are treasured by others for their reliability. But what is fixed earth? Concrete, or an impenetrable layer of Earth's strata. When too planted or too grounded, we're left with no room to breathe and no tolerance for change. Risk becomes terrifying, and flexibility becomes a foreign concept. The continual question for Taurus is how to remain naturally grounded while willing to embrace evolution and inevitable life changes. Taurus's association with beauty and luxury adds to their charm, but this is a slippery slope. On one hand, Taurus can appreciate the fruits of the earth, but if unaware, this affinity unravels into the superficiality or avoidance of what's valuable. Appreciation shape-shifts into materialism, altering Taurus's statement from I have to I value will evolve this sign. Focusing on values over possessions or allowing possessions to reflect Taurus's values liberates them. Taurus is represented by the bull. The bull is like the ram in its ability to plow forward, but will only move if his peace is challenged. The bull is very comfortable standing still. If left completely unprovoked or not compelled, he will remain immovable. The bull is doggedly stubborn, and sometimes not for the sake of defiance. He might wonder, what's there to fight for? If the bull isn't connected with a reason or his why, he will remain in place. In the tarot, the Hierophant is the tarot card associated with the Taurus. On this card, we see a figure with elaborate garb and a headpiece elevated on a throne, suggesting a position of guidance and respectability. The Hierophant depicts a spiritual teacher and is often tied to spiritual traditions and religious institutions. This is a message to seek a teacher for higher understanding and spiritual knowledge, or intended as a nudge encouraging you into leadership. It's worth noting that the Empress card is often tied to Taurus as it is associated with Venus. The themes reflect many Taurian ideals, including connectivity to nature and the senses. The Empress is seated comfortably. Her cushioned throne is situated in a plentiful garden surrounded by tall trees, ripening corn, and flowing water. The Venus symbol, prominently displayed on her rested shield, signifies her connection with beauty, love, and resources. The Empress is an embodiment of feminine earth energy. Taurus Sun. The Taurus Sun enjoys the finer things, weaving pleasure and lavishness into their daily lives. They can gravitate toward luxury brands or comfortable fabrics, and rare or gourmet foods are within the realm of interest. But financial stability is also important to them. They can hold on to a career or position that doesn't serve them and stay past their expiration date. They tend to be very loyal in their friendships and prioritize romantic partners. Known for their reliability, this is the friend you speak to after years have passed and it's like no time has gone by. Their communication and the way they process information can be unchanging. Even the inside jokes you once shared are likely to remain the same. In committed relationships, it can be difficult for them to continue prioritizing their needs, and breakups are more difficult for them to navigate. Relinquishing control and recognizing their stubbornness is vital for their growth and evolution. Taurus rising. Taurus risings interact with the world through Venusian themes and process through tactile, sensory experiences. They experience life through possessions, nature, and food. Taurus risings are seen as connected to luxurious living and sensual delights, and this is evidenced through their cozy home environments. They can be financially focused and take pleasure in building wealth or managing assets. In close relationships, they may be perceived as stubborn or creatures of habit. They stand their ground through consistent action and conviction. When provoked, their partners could witness flared tempers. But with Venus as their chart ruler, they can be magnetic, and others are likely to find their company easygoing and pleasurable in general. Taurus moon. Taurus moon craves stability, predictability, and structure in their routine. As a result, small changes can be tough for them, and they can experience life lessons around surrender throughout their lives. In relationships, they can embody a my way or the highway type of energy. A Taurus moon's coping strategies might involve food, luxury, or retail therapy. Or, for the micromanagerial Taurus, money management can become their therapy. Building routines that include sensual elements can also be valuable for them, and these could involve moments of rest or incorporating scents or essential oils into their daily routines. Intimately connected to nature, Taurus moons recharge through their connection to the earth. They thrive in hands-on activities, especially outdoors, including gardening, farming, or painting, where their creativity can shine. If you have your Venus in Taurus. At home in Taurus, those with Venus here feel love through Venusian themes. Food can be the way to the heart, as well as spa dates and luxury gifts. It doesn't always have to be fancy, but it must feel good and pampering. Those with this placement are deeply connected to the natural world, and more than most, appreciate the gifts of flowers. They are the slowest to forgive and forget, and are resistant to initiate breakups in their relationships. This can be one of the most realistic placements in terms of spending, or the most frivolous. Sticking to budgets will either be second nature or necessary for growth, and remaining too stubborn to traditional spending habits could pose an obstacle as values shift or circumstances evolve. Although creatures of stable habits, when it comes to luxury, food, and pleasure, some really let loose and spend aggressively in these areas. Venus in Taurus has a love for food and may naturally meal prep or fantasize about food. Cooking can be a form of self-love or a way to their heart. A partner for Taurus, Sun, and Venus. In partnerships, Taurus offers loyalty and romance. They are devoted partners, and they seek this dependability in their significant others. They value privacy and are attracted to partners with a mysterious side. Having inside jokes, a hidden sex life, or some taboo element in partnerships could be up their alley. They value partners who are deeply in touch with their emotions, which lends depth and excitement to their practical, steady way of being. Partners who support their hobbies, bond over meals, and are ready to enjoy cozy, relaxing evenings are essential. Shadow work for Taurus. The shadow traits: immovability, materialism. The evolved traits: innovation, practicality. The lesson: Taurus is learning how to stabilize and learning lessons related to their value, including monetary and personal wealth. However, there will be times when they need to find their flexibility and surrender. Taurus is learning when to surrender their investments and accept the benefits of pivoting. The advice: clinging too tightly to what isn't working can begin to impact your health. This can manifest as an extreme workout routine or the pendulum swinging into overindulgence. The bull will cling to and claim the small piece of earth he stands on while the world crumbles around him, not accepting that security sometimes requires change. Your rigidity and will require continual check-ins around taking a leap and taking risks when necessary. The shadow through tarot. The Hierophant is in the reverse is disconnected from spiritual practices or lacking in leadership. This can indicate the need to seek some advisor and gain a higher perspective on your current situation. This can also reveal a sense of inner defeat or a lack of confidence to lead and guide. Focusing on issues of self-worth and incorporating practices that make you feel good and stable are advised. Returning to the Empress and this card's connection to Taurus, the Empress in reverse is disconnected from her abundance. This card indicates a lack of love, sensuality, and beauty. It signifies an energy depletion and can indicate a lack of resources. Restoring a sense of vitality is advised. Both cards suggest remedies found through spiritual forms of self-care, as well as through connecting with nature and healing the senses. Reflections for Taurus. Where in my life could I loosen the reins and allow for more flexibility? How can I nourish my spiritual side? What part of my routine could benefit from a little shaking up? Is there a habit or thought pattern that doesn't serve me well or is overdue to be released? Affirmations for Taurus. I embrace the changing of life's seasons and ride the wave into the next chapter. I appreciate my deep connection with my senses. I enjoy the fruits of the earth with deep gratitude. I recognize stability as one of my greatest assets. Practices for Taurus energy. Gardening. As a Venusian-ruled earth sign, this is your wheelhouse. When outdoors, you receive a natural cleansing of your energy and a boost. This is where you can feel replenished and restored and cultivate homegrown crops or flowers you've tended to with your green thumb. Your eye for beauty can be satisfied here, too. Aerobic exercise. We all love the Venusian associations you have with rest and relaxation, cozy dwellings, and delightful treats. But fixed earth benefits the most from air or movement. In addition to pushing away from any tendency to be sedentary, aerobic exercise supports a Taurus mental health, leaving you less prone to fixating on belongings or practical matters. Movement is your medicine and a terrific tool for your processing. Maintain friendships when in relationships. Fixed earth can be quite rigid in general, but you are prone to being inflexible, even if unintentionally, once you're hitched or booed up. Create the habit of reaching out to those you love. Prioritize your connections with family, friends, and freshly buddying acquaintances. In addition to feeling more centered in yourself, Your relationships will flourish, and your partnerships can grow deeper as a result. Expand your comfort zone. As a creature of habit, intentionally pushing past your comfort zone is a great way to remain flexible and open to possibilities. To test your limits, you might consider practices like cold plunges, hot yoga, short races, or full marathons. Whichever practice you choose, this expansion can boost your self-confidence and strengthen your ability to find comfort in discomfort. Sorry, that is the end of chapter 6. Sorry, my cat just came up here. I wanted you to see it. Well, she already downstairs. All right, any questions? Well, thank you for the heart puff. I love you so much. And the heart me and the roses. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Bailey. Barry. I'm sorry. Thank you, Barry. I know, right? I can't wait till it's down here. I cannot wait. Okay. Nope. Alright, we're gonna do chapter 7. Gemini, you're next. Chapter 7, Gemini. Theme, the alchemist. Archetype, the intuitive messenger. Dates, May 21st to June 20th. Motto, I think. Ruling planet, Mercury. House, 3rd. Degrees, 3, 15, or 27, and 27. Modality, mutual. Element, air. Color, yellow. Body correlation, hands, arms, lungs, respiratory and nervous systems. Keywords, curious, flexible, communicative, restless, and knowledgeable. Tarot card, the lovers. Characters and celebrities with Gemini energy. Castor and Pollux, Matilda from Matilda, Gwendolyn Brooks, Tupac Shakur, Allen Ginsberg, and Prince. Gemini playlist. Thinking About You by Frank Ocean, Playground Love by Air, Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz, I Heard It Through the Grapevine by Marvin Gaye, All I Do by Stevie Wonder, Bonnie and Clyde by Bridget Bardot and Serge Gainsbourg, and Constant Surprises by Little Dragon. Herbs and supplements for Gemini. Lion's mane for cognitive support, peppermint for respiratory health, and lavender for calming the nervous system. Crystals for Gemini. Amazonite for heart and throat chakra alignment, citrine for natural joy and playfulness, shungite for energetic shielding and EMF protection. In a quote, I'm a writer, and everything I write is both a confession and a struggle to understand things about myself and this world in which I live. This is what everyone's work should be, whether you dance or paint or sing. You stumble forward, confused, and you share. If you're lucky, you learn something. Arthur Miller. Mutable air is like ether. You can't control it. You can't predict its comings and goings. If you try to hold air in your palm, it'll slip between your fingers. The messenger swoops in, delivers the message, and vanishes. Their youthful spirit, alongside mental agility, confuses most people. Gemini can cut to the truth with their words with an uncanny swiftness. So when someone accesses their options as two sides of the metaphorical coin, Gemini recognizes the coin is really a cube with triple the possibilities. As an information sponge with a knack for trivia, Gemini personifies a Rolodex of data, which stems from their curiosity, longing to understand, and desire to feel understood. They are often viewed as clever, a jack of all trades, and unpredictable. But Gemini is the airiest of air, begging for an inner check-in around how to incorporate the elements of water, fire, and earth. Gemini, how do you channel your will or desires and give them a firm, practical place to land? How do you use your insights as messages and alchemize them into the physical realm? As one of three dual signs, Gemini is characterized by the twins. There are three of this type of sign. The others include the fellow air sign of Libra and the fellow mutable sign of Pisces, and this duality lends to their complexity, allowing them to embody a split perspective. Gemini is mythologically tied to Castor and Pollux, and the symbolism of the twins highlights how Gemini can be perceived and how they view the world. The world is abundant with options and opposing outlooks. Why would Gemini not offer the vantage point that is available but overlooked? Why would Gemini take something at face value when there is an opportunity for negotiation? Isn't it an internal question Gemini has to ask? It is a way of being that is intrinsic to their outlook. With their ruling planet of Mercury, the planet of communication, their multifaceted perspective is revealed through conversation and writing. In the tarot, the Lovers is the card associated with Gemini, and this reflects the symbolism of the twins. In it, we find two people reminiscent of Adam and Eve, naked in a garden. Bright colors abound from natural elements. Balance is suggested through the near symmetry of the card, the lovers on either side, trees growing behind each of them, a mountain centering the card, topped with an archangel and the sun overhead. This imagery suggests a balanced union that is interwoven with a spiritual theme. This card can be referred to as a harmonious union of two people, or a unifying of masculine and feminine energies within oneself. The Lovers can also represent a choice to be made and points toward the value of external options or inner duality. Gemini's Sun. A Gemini's Sun looks at life as a textbook and seeks out multiple forms of learning, whether through life experience or formal study. Their desire to learn drives them, and their connections fuel this knowledge. Their multifaceted outlook gives them a rare bird's eye view. Notice the number of times you hear, "I think," from your Gemini friends. An intelligent sign, they can be easily intrigued and just as easily bored. This boredom and swiftness can result in flightiness, moving swiftly from one person, place, or thing to the next. Originality speaks to them, and concepts that go against the ties will arouse their interest. This is a highly creative placement with a lengthy roster of celebrity artists including Prince,
Tupac, and Stevie Nicks. They appreciate working with other creatives and sharing their original ideas. In work, Gemini sons are either skilled at multitasking or overwhelmed by multiple responsibilities. They may oscillate between these positions. A Gemini sun is capable of quickness and known for fun, but at their core, they have a depth to uncover. With easy-to-access humor and playfulness, they must be careful of others mistaking their childlike nature for childish naivety. They reconnect with their sense of self through play and activities they enjoyed in childhood.
If you have Gemini rising, a Gemini ascendant views the world through a lens of immense curiosity. They are adventurous and learn life lessons through their fearlessness and willingness to take risks. Each of the air signs moves swiftly, particularly Gemini. Gemini risings are on a mission to collect data. It is though information is a life force and tied to deep meaning. Their ruling planet, speedy Mercury, keeps them moving quickly. Building relationships with people from all walks of life and living in cities can best suit their cravings for connection and stimulation. Gemini rising often dress gender neutral and can appear gender fluid. A natural social butterfly, they have eclectic social circles that tend to be filled with acquaintances. Sorry, y'all, that was my sister, my older sister. In conversations, they ask off-the-wall questions that provoke head turns and deeper probing. In an optimistic, high-energy scene in the Barbie movie, Barbie asks, "Do you guys ever think about dying?" This random bout of inappropriateness is peak Gemini behavior. When people need to see a new angle on an existing situation, a Gemini ascendant can lend a new perspective. As a jack-of-all-trades placement, Gemini risings can be perceived as knowledgeable but scattered in their work or distracted in life. The key for them is to assemble their knowledge and use it effectively. Focus is the key to their success. If you have a Gemini moon, a Gemini moon needs to understand feelings. The root to their heart and intimacy is mental clarity. Anything that disrupts their mental clarity is an anti-love language, making them the least tolerant moon sign for mind games or lying. A Gemini moon can be fickle in their mood, flip-flopping in their emotions, and making decisions on a whim. Like Gemini sun and rising, they can be easily distracted and move briskly between tasks. They are prone to exploring digital rabbit holes, keeping many browser tabs open, and engaging across social media platforms. They are best served by taking their time before acting and communicating their feelings. They tend to grasp concepts surrounding their feelings without feeling and transmuting their feelings. It will benefit them to sink into their heart, exploring and transmuting their emotions. One of the healthiest forms of processing for Gemini moons is writing. If your Venus is in Gemini, for Venus in Gemini, love can be found through the mind. The catering to their curiosity can be the key to their heart. They thrive on mental connectivity and appreciate the flexibility to zoom from topic to topics in conversation. Similar to their knowledge counterpart, Sagittarius, they may invest in experiences that satisfy their curiosity, and purchases related to education or books
are their budget's kryptonite. I am crying. I'm sorry, my Venus is in Gemini. They're on point. Financially, Venus in Gemini benefits from greater intentionality in spending and in budgeting. They can be flighty in love and spending habits, and quick to change their mind and invest elsewhere, especially during their younger years. They can also be highly unpredictable in their they can also be high unpredictability in their partners and whom they choose as love interests. They can be hard to pin down or control. They tend to have a quirky sense of style, meddling different fabrics, colors, and eras into their wardrobe. Sometimes their dress can be androgynous, with interwoven sultry, feminine, and playful boyish elements. They tend to embrace phases with fashion or the sense of style throughout their lives. In photographs, they favor one side of their face. The partner for Gemini's Sun and Venus. Gemini's match will be optimistic, choosing to see life's glasses as half full. A long-term partner will appreciate their curiosity for life and desire to learn. Being an expert in their field or a frequently stamped passport holder will be an instant turn-on, but a stable, achievement-focused partner will best complement them. It's important that their partner communicates well, and cleverness and a broad vocabulary are bonuses. Within the confines of commitment, the right one will leave them feeling free and understood. A natural networker and social butterfly, Gemini may need a partner capable of flying alongside them. Great conversations, genuine curiosity, and fun experiences are keys to Genuine's heart and mind. Shadow work for Gemini. The shadow traits: fickle, impulsive. Evolved traits: wise, intentional. The lesson. For Gemini, movement comes easily. Mental gymnastics can be a sport, and you can use your agility in beneficial ways. But controlling the mind and its wanderings and remaining focused are your life's lessons. The advice: be here now. One byproduct of the mind that runs 1,000,000 miles a minute is a flighty attention span. There's benefit to soothing the frenetic nature of your ruling planet, Mercury, and of all its signs. You benefit the most from present moment awareness exercises. Make the intentional choice to devote your energy where you are most curious and to the path that aligns with your desires. This conscious decision making will not only calm your mind and nervous system, but will also be key to your success. The shadow through tarot. The Lover's card in the reverse can indicate a standstill or feel stuck in decision making. It can signify that through inaction and lack of intention, a less ideal path is being formed for us. As the imagery and name suggests, this card can also indicate disconnection in partnerships or a feeling of inner disharmony. They can reveal a communication breakdown, and this can be resolved through gaining clarity. If you must make a decision, clarify what you want so that when the time is right, you can choose according to your needs. In matters of the heart, your words could play an integral role in healing a connection. Reflections for Gemini. Which area of my life would benefit from greater structure? What practices in my routine help me feel grounded? In the upcoming week, where might I need a renewed focus of my energy? Is there an area of my life that could benefit from a little slower pace? Affirmations for Gemini. I align my mental abilities with the passion of my soul. I quiet the opinions of others. I celebrate my unique gifts and natural curiosity. I look for practical ways to ground my ideas in tangible projects. Practices for Gemini energy. Work with micro steps. Mercury, your ruling planet, is the fastest planet. While this can work to your benefit as the winged messenger, you'll need to pin down your goals. Essentially, you want to avoid the trap of being scattered in half-completing tasks, especially ones that mean a lot to you. Ground your goals by taking one step at a time towards them. These are micro steps, or micro goals. No major leaps are necessary here. And as they take shape and adjustments become required, you'll adapt nicely. Don't overpromise. Just because you move fast doesn't mean you can accomplish it all. This includes your responsibilities and the desires of others. People are propelled by and fed off your energy. You are a manifester. Can you channel that juicy energy into your projects, bringing thought to form? And where can you underpromise to achieve or create what you want? Regularly journal. So many thoughts, so little time. You thrive on getting your ideas out into the world. At bare minimum, you can lighten your load by getting them down. But that doesn't require another ear or sounding board to make it happen. Release the thoughts on paper. You'll feel better. Share your feelings. Your gifts lie in communication, and often your perspective is nuanced. While it requires vulnerability to go emotionally deep and let it out, it's much better than the alternative route of keeping content in your mind. Share your feelings in your platonic and romantic relationships. This will deepen your connections, and like the benefits of journaling, you'll allow the energy to be released instead of pent up. And that is the end of chapter 7, Gemini. Any questions? What's for dinner? Any questions about the book? Yes, here's the book. Sorry that it is backwards. But it's called Astrology and Shadow Work. Thank you, Damn Sly, for the roses. I am reading it so that you may understand. You may not understand now, but that's why I'm recording it, so that you can listen to the whole thing later. You absolutely need your chart, though. You cannot just say, I'm a Gemini, Libra. I mean, a Gemini man, and I'm trying to get with this Libra woman. Are we compatible? Are you compatible where? In which area of your life are you looking for compatibility? Because you need your whole chart. You're not just your sun, you know? So, there's no such thing as, even though the book is like, this is your compatible, take it with a grain of salt, because for some people, these, especially if you have stelliums, or if you don't have no type of interest in that house that their stellium is in, it doesn't matter what your sun is.
So that's why you need understanding of your entire chart, not just where your sun is. Okay? Are we compatible? You weren't listening to nothing I was saying. You was typing. Death and regeneration is the 8th house. I know it is a lot of information to digest at once, but I do save the lives, like I said, that I post them on YouTube and I post them on TikTok. I post them on Instagram. I post them on Facebook. I post them on Twitter. So if you miss any of it or you need a refresher, you need to go back over and take notes or whatever you can, just make sure you follow me. Okay, period. Yeah, you gotta start from the beginning. So when you guys go over the chapters that we already went over, it will make sense. But also, this is one of my favorite astrology books because this one is kind of like, you need to like intermediate. This is the beginner astrology book. When I tell you it goes over everything, it breaks down everything. It is kind of thick. Don't be turned off by the thickness. Alright, I already recorded it. It's already on my YouTube. And it breaks down everything. So I highly, highly, highly suggest starting with, oh dang, I just lost my page. I highly suggest starting with this one. It is called The Only Astrology Book You'll Ever Need. It is already posted. I did break up the videos into chapters. Okay, so step 1 is getting your birth chart. You need a birth chart, all right? If you don't have a birth chart, this is not going to make sense. But once you get your birth chart, you don't have to know anything about it. The book will explain everything. Yeah, so to get your birth chart, you need to know the day you were born, the time you were born, so you can figure out which house this is. You can't figure out which house this is without the time. And the city that you were born, alright? So your birth chart is just a screenshot of the sky when you were born. It shows where all the planets were at, not just where your sun was at, okay? The sky is broken down into these 12 sections, okay? Each section or house represents a specific part of your life. So they were like, oh, your sun is in Aries, okay? But that don't got nothing to do with none of these other houses. So you need to know your whole chart. Especially when y'all looking for compatibility, you know, it's extremely helpful if the other person has their whole chart, okay? Your day of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth. Because even though, you know, you can be born on the same day I'm born, but if you're in a whole nother city, you know, and it could be a whole nother time, the placements are not going to be the same. Yeah. So if you have iPhone, I highly, highly recommend this app called Numerology and Astrology, because it gets into numerology too, which I like both. I do like both. I feel like I like numerology more. You know, astrology is so in-depth, and you gotta do all type of calculations and predictive astrology, you know, with the degrees. Like, that's a lot. If you just want a snapshot, you know, that's what the numerology is for. So I highly recommend getting this app because it has both of them, okay? If you are on Android, I'm not sure an app. I'm still waiting on an Android user to recommend a good app nobody has, and I'm like, either nobody has Android or everybody's an iPhone lover, so, or nobody on Android is in the room. So
if you are an Android and you have a good numerology astrology app, put it in the chat for our Android users. But you can also just go online and type birth chart generator. You just, like I said, you need to have that information and you can put it in there and get your chart. Yes, period. I'm sorry. I'm also live on TikTok, YouTube. Let me see what y'all was saying over here. How can I wipe with tissue? I use baby wipes. I use the dude wipes. It's not a BBL. I'm all natural. Thank you, y'all. Okay. Any other questions about the book before we go on to Cancer? You're welcome. Exactly. It's either you're going to understand it now or you're going to be, ooh. Thank you, Black Jesus. Oh, hey, Black Jesus. Thank you for the diamond. So you're either going to understand it now, you're going to want to understand it now, or it's going to go over your head. And it's all three of them are fine. You're either going to understand it because somebody else, you already did your own work or whatever, and it's like, okay, that's clicking. Or you're going to be like, oh, this is intriguing. That sounds like me, but I want to make sure. Let me go look. Okay? Or you're going to be like, I don't know what she's talking about. Girl, turn around. You know what we're here for. And it's going to be a seed planted. And I'm okay being that first seed planted. Okay? Because if you stay, the seed's being planted. Somebody else might have to come along and help you water it. Help you pull them weeds up. Okay? Somebody else might water it. But the seed is planted. So, hopefully at one point in your life, then you'll decide, let me look and see what all these people are talking about. Because it keeps coming up, So, like I said, whatever category you fit in, they're all okay. So, all right, y'all ready for Cancer? See, that's a category 3. Hello. Exactly. What do you think about Gemini woman and a Virgo man as a couple? I just told you. Gemini, get your whole chart, okay? Because you're talking about couples, right? You're talking about relationships. You're talking about love and emotions. None of that is covered by your sun, So I'm not trying to dodge your question. I'm trying to tell you, where's your Venus at? Where's your moon at? You're talking about compatibility in a relationship. You need love and emotions in a relationship. So what does your sun have anything to do? Listen, I'm trying. The seeds planted. You need your whole chart. The whole chart. Okay? What is ruling your 7th house, which is partnerships and marriage? So that's why I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be like, oh, you need to do this work. You really need to do the work to understand a whole person, not just a sun sign. Okay? No, you're not listening. You're going to have to send me a message, all right? We're going over the whole chart. We're not focusing on the sun. You want to focus on your sun, go to the book on my YouTube, the playlist, and go to the only astrology book you'll ever need. And just read the first 4 chapters. They're all on your sun. Hopefully you will, and then you'll be like, ooh, let me just go to chapter 5. Because the first 4 chapters was real descriptive, okay? And then maybe you'll keep going through the whole book, Maybe, hopefully, seed planted. Okay, I'm watching. What is this? Hit the buzzer. That was pretty. Black Jesus, know you are amazing. Thank you. I never even seen that. Okay, period. You know your full chart, but you don't know hers. Get hers. Tell her to get hers. First, understand yours. That's the first thing. You want to understand yours. It could be very traumatizing, but trust me, it's very healing to understand your own chart first. Then go on to her chart. Thank you, Jay Hines. All right. Any other questions before we get to Cancer? Sorry, Cancer. I know y'all patiently waiting. I said you need to first understand yours. All right. This shadow work, I haven't read no lies. Okay, it is extremely important, like I said, to know, even coming into life, what you got going on with yourself. What areas you supposed to be focusing on, and where you need to work on self-improvement. You should not be in like even entertaining no relationship until you understand yourself first. So after you do that, you work on yourself, you know. Go that self-love period of winter, summer, spring, and fall by yourself. And you know you can dip a toe in the dating pool, but until then, you're just gonna keep getting lessons after lessons after lessons, and wondering why all these people is coming in and out your life. You don't even know what you want, you know. So that would be my advice. You could take it, let it go over, resonate. It's your choice. After Saturn, discipline and limitation. Oh my gosh, we be talking about Saturn all the time. This is why I tell people don't date until you are in your 30s. Saturn right here. Listen, I got whole books on just Saturn. So the rabbit hole never ends. Okay. All right. Everybody good to go to chapter 8? Yeah, just send me a message on Instagram. I'll help you with your chart. Because you guys send it. I'm not Instagram. On TikTok. Because my Instagram inbox is closed. But you can send me a message on TikTok, the Unicorn Riah, or you can send me a message on Twitter, Unicorn Riah. Those inboxes are open. Okay, don't be telling people your rising sign, y'all. I know y'all want to. What's your big 3? Stop telling people how to start your chart. Stop it. Shh. That's why I didn't say, hey, y'all put your information in the chart. I said, go look up your information yourself. Do not put it in there. Not to say somebody on the chat is going to take your information, but you don't know. You know, you never know. So, in your chart, show your whole life. All right, we are going to go on to chapter 8. This is when you first look up your birth chart. This is what it looks like, this wheel. And the wheel got all types of symbols on it, all type of numbers on it. This is literally breaking down what this chart means at face value, okay? When you start getting into the houses and which house stands for what, this is what this is for, all right? Then the little symbols are different planets. These are what those planets mean. So if you know what your planet is and house means, when you look at to see which houses you have planets in, you're like, oh shit, okay, that makes sense. But then there's a sign ruling the houses. So when you look at the sign that's ruling that area of your life with your placement, that's when shit starts getting magical, starts making sense. Okay? Even knowing your purpose, what you even supposed to be here to do, right here, y'all were like, damn, Riah, you always make me want to do something. You always inspiring and encouraging me to do something. Hello, initiator. Let's give an initiator energy, okay? The ride or dies, you always need them to be there. They always pop up and can fix something. The fixers, hello, okay. So it's a lot of, I know there's a lot of information, and I'm not trying to overload you with information. That's why we've been breaking it down into lives. And I'll do this live, and then I'll do a couple different lives, and we'll come back to this live, and then I'll do a couple yoga lives or hugging lives, and then we'll come back to this one, so we can let the information process. Like, you don't want to be too overwhelmed. So even when you go on my YouTube, don't try to get through the whole book. It's gonna be a lot. All right, you're gonna want to take notes. You're gonna give yourself time to process, especially when you get into these. We ain't even got the Chiron and your Lilith and your North and South Node and all that. Like, it gets deep. I didn't want to, first of all, I didn't have enough space on the board, but I still didn't want to super overwhelm you. But it is very, very, very specific to everything you've already been through, what you're going through now, and what you're going to go through in the future. We didn't even get into the predictive astrology with the degrees and all of that. So when I tell you the rabbit hole, it goes down, up, down, left, right, back and forth, up, okay? So I just want to take it as slow as possible. Okay. What you about to do? Sorry, Cancers. If you are a Cancer in here, you are awesome, okay? Thank you for waiting. We're going to keep going to chapter 8. Every time I try to do a herb live, they cut my live. Every time. So I'll sprinkle in a couple of videos here and there with the herbs, but every time I'm like, all right, y'all, let's go to the medicine cabinet, they cut my live. So it's not me. It's your social media platform. I can't even go live on Instagram right now because of the free hug videos. They're like, this girl is over here spreading too much positivity. Take her, restrict her. You know, so cuckoo, chill, Hakuna Matata, you know. That's why we have multiple platforms. Alright. You can't focus? Well, you know I do a pillow talk live at nighttime so that you can focus. And I literally just put the camera up to the ceiling so that you can focus. So if you're not being able to focus right now, come back tonight at 11 o'clock and ask me your questions. No, I'm serious. That's why we started it. Because there was too many people like, I can't focus. And I'm like, I understand that. I completely understand it. So come back tonight at 11 Eastern. Alright, back. I'll see you tonight. On live, not at the Addy. On live. Actually, YouTube. I am sorry. That is only for TikTok. I only do the Pillow Talk live on TikTok. So if you are on YouTube, you need to follow me on TikTok because I only do it on there. I'm sorry, I'm not doing multiple apps at 11 o'clock at night. We only do it on TikTok. Alright, you gonna focus? Alright, bet. Okay. Chapter 8. Cancer. Theme. The tender crab. Archetype. The mother. Dates. June 21st to July 22nd. Motto. I feel. Ruling planet. The moon. House. 4th. Degrees. 4, 16, and 28. Modality. Cardinal. Element. Water. Colors. White and silver. Body correlation. Chest, breasts, and stomach. Keywords. Sensitive, nurturing, intuitive, defensive, and heart-driven. Tarot card, the Chariot. Characters and celebrities with Cancer energy. Artemis, Gaia, a fairy godmother. Claire Huxtable, Robin Williams, and Mr. Rogers. Cancer playlists. Sign Your Name by Sonata Maitreya. Addicted to Love by Robert Palmer. Seabird by Alessi Brothers. While My Guitar Gently Weeps by the Beatles. Just Like Water by Mrs. Lauryn Hill. Summertime Sadness by Lana Del Rey. And Simply Beautiful by Al Green. Herbs and supplements for cancer. Lemon balm for soothing. Milk thistle for detoxification. And valerian for improving sleep. Crystals for cancer. Moonstone for connecting to nature. Labradorite for intuitive connection. And bloodstone for grounding and courage. In a quote, in my most natural state, I'll be introverted for say, 6 days in a row. And then on the 7th day, I'll become very extroverted. Then I'll have to go back inside myself. Something I can't really control. It's a bit like the ocean and the tides. Bjork. As the first water sign, there's a tenderness and fragility surrounding Cancer, as well as the crab symbolizing it. Life isn't all scary, but to the crab washed along the shore at the whim of the tide, it can feel that way. When you're used to the sea, the water can override the other elements. If tucked away for too long, those feelings might erupt into a tidal wave. Cancer's gift, as well as their kryptonite, is their capacity for emotional depth. And as a cardinal water sign, Cancer is learning to navigate feelings. Ruled by the moon, representing maternal energy and sitting opposite paternal energy in Capricorn, Cancer is part of the axis that represents paternal figures. This can express itself through a range that includes nurturing, loving, controlling, or detaching emotionally. Glancing one sign before, if Gemini wants us to think how they think, Cancer wants us to feel how they feel. Cancer must be aware of their emotional regulation more than most signs, as their cardinal energy can manifest as erratic, heart-over-head decision-making. Emotional regulation instead of suppression will benefit them and others as they safely navigate the shore in relationships that truly serve their well-being. Cancer needs this gentle reminder. You weren't born to hide in your shell. More importantly, Cancer, how do you remind yourself of that and not wait for someone to tap on your shell and remind you? Cancer's lifelong learning revolves around their capacity to give that reminder to themselves and, with bravery and grounding, express their feelings. In the tarot, the Chariot is a tarot card for Cancer. On it, we see a figure riding a chariot led by one black sphinx and one white, equalizing the proportions of this card. Balance is the theme represented by these two figures. With a town in the distance, movement is implied, and the message is that focus and balance are necessary for forward momentum. Without it, the chariot would ride adrift and abandon any destination. The face front positioning of the chariot's driver reminds us of the cardinal energy and the importance of moving forward with intentionality. Cancer Sun. Cancer Suns have moved from lessons of the past 3 signs, including self, possessions, and ideology, into the realm of feelings. Perceived as sensitive, they are not only sensitive to their own needs, but they often intuit the needs of others. Others have the chance to learn about themselves through the Cancerian lens. As the sign associated with maternal energy, others tend to look to them for emotional support. Cancer's son's life lesson is to learn how to self-nurture and to find the balance between overwhelm and suppression. Another necessary lesson is to discern between nurturing others and serving while bypassing their own needs. Their nurturing nature is attractive, and they must be discerning of the community they cultivate. They benefit from gauging reciprocity in all of their relationships. As a sign tied to the 4th house, their private life is one of their top priorities. They benefit from keeping their work and public life separate from their personal lives. This helps Cancer Suns feel grounded and balanced. Cancer Rising. Cancer Risings understand the range found in life, its beautiful and challenging facets. They tend to be creatives, or at least thrilled to visit a gallery, consume others' art, or take in a show. Like Cancer Suns, they can experience the full gamut of emotions that others may suppress or not easily access. If they mismanage these emotions, they appear moody and may quickly make themselves emotionally unavailable to others. They connect to the world through their heart space and can interact with the world in emotionally responsive ways, manifesting as nurturing or potentially manipulative. They can be torchbearers for others' sufferings and are skilled at creating a cozy atmosphere. Often, this placement wants to make sure you're well fed, not worried about basic needs, and able to sleep soundly. Cancer Rising is the protector through everyday nourishment. They are natural providers, and their gauge for helping is how those around them feel. Cancer Moon. Cancer Moons are very intuitive and can be deeply connected to the dream space in their ancestry. Not only is this an emotionally sensitive placement, but they are also energetically sensitive and may identify as clairsentient or capable of detecting others' unexpressed feelings. The impact of others' feelings and their own can make them moody. When hurt, Cancer Moons tend to overthink, sulk, eat, or cry it out. They benefit from expressing their feelings and not bottling them up to keep the peace. They also must be wary for allowing their feelings to overrun their lives. Cancer Moons do well to cleanse, nurture, and protect their energy. They greatly benefit from energy clearing as a part of their routine. Venus in Cancer. Venus in Cancer connects with others through emotionally availability and responds best to those who are vulnerable. This softness extends into intimacy, where they can be consumed with how their partner feels. They appreciate compliments on their devotion to the little things, those elements that make a home feel like an abode more than most. Their aesthetic can revolve around the desire to feel comfortable and includes cozy fabrics and fits. This is like Goldilocks finding the just right things through life. Their home is important to them, and having it feel like a sanctuary is tied to their emotional stability. Their home or workspace in disarray can reflect some internal disorder. Home aesthetics are significant and give them a sense of peace in a chaotic world. Cancer Moon and Venus find grounding through decorating their space and making it feel comfortable. Home cleaning can be a source of stress relief, and you can find them doing DIY projects or reveling in building things for their home. Regardless of gender, they may lean toward pinks, soft blues, white, or pastels. They can be very protective of loved ones and sentimental in their gift giving. Highly sensitive, this placement must be aware of emotional volatility. Venus in Cancer can be sensitive to the needs of family members and must actively prioritize their own needs. This placement romanticizes the past and craves knowledge of their ancestry. They tend to collect memorabilia with emotional ties to their past, and purging or clearing their space can be an emotional process. The partner for Cancer's Sun and Venus. In partners, Cancer seeks stability and appreciate partners in leadership or authority positions. With Saturn as the ruler of their partnership house, they tend to seek partners who feel like caretakers or disciplinarians, and they need to be careful not to confuse love with restriction and control. Once they question trust in their partners, they can be quick to cut them off and retreat into their shells. They crave structure in their relationships and the freedom to be vulnerable. Like Cancer, the right partner will also gravitate toward cozy spaces and experiences, prioritizing safety in their private lives. Cancerians enjoy the process of getting to know their partners and their preferences. As a busy caretaker for everyone else, Cancer benefits the most from a partner who is reciprocal and sensitive in love, checking in on them and their needs. The right fit for Cancer will feel like home. Shadow work for Cancer. The shadow traits: avoidance, withdrawal. The evolved traits: maturity, directness. The lesson: ruled by the moon and opposite the rulership of Saturn, this is the axis of parental energies. The life lesson for you, dear Cancer, is mastering emotional regulation and learning to nurture and caretake yourself. Specifically, this will be done through material instincts, such as connecting with your intuition and ensuring that your emotional and physical needs are being met. The advice: being tuned into your emotional landscape is valuable, but it doesn't have to rule you. This depth and awareness makes for terrific art. Suppression is not advised, so how can you channel your deep feels? Don't sit alone on the couch. Don't materialistically dissolve from difficult sensations. Does it just need to be spoken from the heart? Stand, speak, use that cardinal energy and express it. The Shadow through Tarot. The Chariot in reverse indicates a lack of direction. As a cardinal sign, you will be tasked with taking initiative for yourself and others. When this card is reversed, there can be a need for clarity before moving forward. This card in reverse can also indicate stubbornness and the need to surrender to a new direction. Sometimes the answer lies in moving off course and onto a new, purposeful path. When you're unsure of the next step, moving along a trajectory that is aligned with your values will be key. Reflections for Cancer. Where might I be outsourcing my power? Specifically, Where might I might be outsourcing my power to gain someone else's approval? Where do I need to detach for my highest good? What healthy practices do I rely upon when I am tempted to ruminate? Is there an area in my life I might benefit from a little bit more risk-taking? Affirmations for Cancer. I have the emotional resources inside myself that help me feel good and execute self-mastery. I take responsibility for nurturing myself as a top priority. I use my intuitive awareness in ways that serve my practical life and help me move forward. I recognize regulating my emotions is my responsibility, and others are responsible for their emotional landscapes. Practices for Cancer energy. Creating a nurturing morning and nightly routine. These practices will cater to your desire to feel good while keeping you away from ruminating and unproductive thoughts. Because as much as you are a sign of feeling, your hidden shadow is your ability to dwell. Channel that energy into your nurturing and do it for yourself. Make a schedule out of it and have fun. Budget. I know, this one isn't cute or cuddly, but sharing your access is Capricorn, strategic, plotting, and money-driven. This opposing energy indicates that this is something you value in others, and specifically in your partners. One of the most hidden ways for you to feel nourished is to cultivate good money habits for yourself. This is also a beautiful diversion from the watery depths you are drawn into, which is not a bad place to be. But budgeting will help you feel like a secure crab rather than one tossed along the shore. Cultivate your creative practice. You have hidden talents that make your heart happy. Plus, creating helps you positively connect with your emotions. While you're creating that nourishing morning and evening routine, fold in time for your arts, hobbies, or crafts. Don't allow your gifts to languish or light to fade. You don't have to be ready to share your creations with the world in order to foster your talents. Don't avoid conflict. When emotions feel overwhelming, there can be a tendency to retreat into your shell. Or you can tend to bottle up those feelings and overreact on a future date. For the health of your relationships and honoring your feelings, don't bolt when the going gets tough. This helps to prevent reactions that are disproportionate in the future. Express yourself. And that is the end of chapter 8. Thank you. Thank you, Sick to Psycho, for the heart me. Alright, so, where is it? Oh. We're gonna take a break, okay? I need to sit back and relax and kick my feet up, okay? My ankles is like, girl, we need a break. So I'm gonna give my ankles a break, all right? I know, Leo. I'm so sorry, Leo. I know, I love y'all, but we gonna come back to y'all. And then don't look at it as like, damn, you just stopped at Leo, and you know how Leos feel. think of it as the next time we start, Leo, you first. Okay, we're gonna give you all the attention and admiration you need first. Okay? So make sure you guys are following me on both platforms. My YouTube is Unicorn Riah, so follow me over there, and the live will post sometime tomorrow if you follow me there. And if you follow me on YouTube, make sure you follow me on TikTok, THEE Unicorn Riah, RIAH. All right. If you want to, like I said, come back tonight for the Pillow Talk Live, we will be staring at the ceiling, just letting you know. So don't come in live like, oh my gosh, why are you not in the screen? It's the Pillow Talk. Okay, grab your pillow and let's talk. I also do a panel, so you are able to come up on the panel too. Just be respectful. Okay, remember, there's no mods. All right, it is a patience test. So come in here prepared to get your patience tested, but also prepared to take the patient skill points that you earn by making it through the live without responding to anybody that's trying to pull you down and take that energy off of you. Okay? Alright, I'm gonna see you guys later. It's 4:24, so if I don't come back before 11, then I'll come back at 11. But I might come back, like I said. My ankle's just like, so I gotta go take care of them. Alright? So I'm gonna see you guys later. Okay? See you later, YouTube.